NASA Administrator Bill Nelson immediately cheered Thursday's feat as a triumph, saying Odysseus has taken the moon. As planned, the spacecraft was believed to have come to rest at a crater named Malapert A near the moon's south pole, according to the webcast. The spacecraft was not designed to provide live video of the landing, which came one day after it reached lunar orbit and a week after its launch from Florida. Thursday's landing represented the first controlled descent to the lunar surface by a U.S. spacecraft since Apollo 17 in 1972, when NASA's last crewed moon mission landed there with astronauts Gene Cernan and Harrison Schmitt. To date, spacecraft from just 4 other countries have ever landed on the moon: the former Soviet Union, China, India, and, mostly recently, just last month, Japan. The United States is the only one ever to have sent humans to the lunar surface. Odysseus is carrying a suite of scientific instruments and technology demonstrations for NASA and several commercial customers designed to operate for 7 days on solar energy before the sun sets over the polar landing site. The NASA payload focuses on space weather interactions with the moon's surface, radio astronomy, and other aspects of the lunar environment for future landing missions. Odysseus was sent on its way to the moon last Thursday atop a Falcon 9 rocket launched by Elon Musk's company SpaceX from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Dawn of Artemis. Its arrival marked the first soft landing on the moon ever by a commercially manufactured and operated vehicle and the first under NASA's Artemis lunar program. As the U.S. races to return astronauts to Earth's natural satellite before China lands its own crewed spacecraft there, NASA aims to land its first crewed Artemis in late 2026 as part of long-term, sustained lunar exploration and a stepping stone toward eventual human flights to Mars. The initiative focuses on the moon's south pole in part because a presumed bounty of frozen water exists there that can be used for life support and production of rocket fuel. A host of small landers like Odysseus are expected to pave the way under NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) program, designed to deliver instruments and hardware to the moon at lower costs than the U.S. Space Agency's traditional method of building and launching those vehicles itself. Leaning more heavily on smaller, less experienced private ventures comes with its own risks. Just last month, the lunar lander of another firm, Astrobotic Technology, suffered a propulsion system leak on its way to the moon shortly after being placed in orbit on January 8 by a United Launch Alliance (ULA) Vulcan rocket. The malfunction of Astrobotic's Peregrine lander marked the third failure of a private company to achieve a lunar touchdown, following ill-fated efforts by companies from Israel and Japan. Although Odysseus is the latest star of NASA's CLPS program, the IM-1 flight is considered an intuitive machines mission. The company was co-founded in 2013 by Stephen Altemus, former deputy director of NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, and now the company's president and CEO.